I don't want to get copyrighted.
Windy night ahead. Let's get right to CBS 12 meteorologist John Matthews, who's tracking our next weather maker, trying to get some sunshine.
Yeah, I think we're ready for it, but we're not going to get it for a couple of days here because we are really going to load up the moisture content. Starting out right now, got a lot of clouds around, but no major rain. Some of that is offshore. I'm sure it happened radar, but things are kind of calm and on the warm side. It's not a bad day today, but we're still looking at, again, rain chances continuing as we go through the night. That's because we have this stalled out front right across the area. We're over here. See all this deep moisture? It's all going to roll right along it all from Mexico. It's coming right over to Maxine's house and everybody else's as well. It looks like the heaviest rain begins after the evening hours, probably overnight, and all day tomorrow with soaking rain. We'll talk all about that. You can see by the hour by hour. Lots of going with our next weather maker. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with a forecast for you.
All right, thanks, Johnny. Remember, you can track the rain in your neighborhood anytime with our CBS 12 News weather app. Just click on WPEC in your app store. Now at 3, we're following some new developments in the human trafficking bust spanning across 3 counties. A judge has ruled to unseal videos and pictures taken inside and outside the spas where dozens of men, including New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, were arrested for allegedly engaging in sexual acts. CBS 12's Treasure Coast reporter Aaron McPherson joins us live now from a defense attorney's office in Stewart with what this means for the men who are charged. Aaron?
Maxine, the Kibbe Wagner firm here filed a motion this morning, a motion for a protective order to make sure that all the several men that they are responsible for, none of their video is released to the public. They only want it for the attorneys here, and that's why they filed for an emergency hearing. Now, last week when the judge unsealed the documents, he left the decision of who will get access to these videos and pictures to the prosecutors and law enforcement. We reached out to the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office as well as the Martin County State Attorney's Office and the Martin County Sheriff's Office today requesting any and all information in regards to this case. Now, the public information officer for the Sheriff's Office, I just got off the phone with a few moments ago, and she explained that right now they aren't releasing anything because it is an open investigation. They do not want to jeopardize any type of outcome. Now, even though the Sheriff's Office stated they don't intend to release the videos to the public, Richard Kibbe said he will feel more secure with the judge's order in place. And there's no word right now if that judge will grant an emergency hearing or put an order out at this time. We will, of course, update you with that, and we are planning on having much more on these new developments coming up tonight on CBS 12 News at 5 o'clock. For now, we are live in Stewart. Aaron McPherson, CBS 12 News.
A Broward County Sheriff's deputy is behind bars accused of molesting a young girl almost 20 years ago. BDSO deputies arrested 58-year-old Beryl Cohens of Port St. Lucie. Investigators said he molested a girl who lived with him for about 5 years while they lived in West Palm Beach. The victim, now 28 years old, says she was afraid to come forward back then because he was a deputy. BSO has suspended Cohens without pay. A South Florida priest is facing charges after being accused of drugging and raping a woman. The woman says
That block here is short. You see? That's short. That's on the side. That's a big long block right there. You see it?
Where?
Right here. This is longer.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, work on the inside.
See, look, if I break this, I hit the window. If I break this, it's nothing. That's exactly what I need to make it even. But in here, I have. It's just uneven from the other side. This for science, it's for life. I'm just waiting for
Oh, I know what it is. Look at the wall. You said that's solid. Look at the wall. See, that's the difference.
No, they're not. These two? This?
Okay, all right, let me just do it. What you guys trying to look at? That's wrong. Let me see.
Now they're even. Cut off.
I don't know. That's all.
This works.
Do that. Oh. Well, I thought you. Oh. Baby, you be an owl. Look at
Yeah, I
you all.
already know about
You
that.
see right there, you be an owl.
I already know about that.
And your butthole.
It's not that I'm worried about.
Now you can really give this.
It's my waterfall thing. It's not really that noticeable. It's fine. I can just incorporate this in my mind. It's not that noticeable. Just leave it.
I told you the side a little longer, and you feel out.
No, yeah, I know. I did build this for outward. I did that on purpose, but that's not what's affecting this block. Actually, it is.
Yeah, you feel out.
But I can't fix it. If I
You don't need to. Your place is.
It's fine. So if I fix that, my waterfall will be messed up.
You just want to come out.
I know. I'm gonna leave it like that. I just
Good.
said that.
I like it. I live in the house.
It's not a house. It's a lab.
I live in that
You
lab.
see these potions
I don't care. I like the lab.
and these cauldrons with water in it?
Yeah.
It's a lab.
I like the closet. The black food. Whatever. Shut up. Listen, I'm sorry. Just shut up.
Get away.
I can't. You are addicted.
It's a lighting. Guys, this is really good potions.
You see, girl, I can bring it closer.
They're potions.
Hey, fire.
You see the bottle?
It's stupid.
There's it's this. This is the bottle with stuff in it.
It's still stupid looking.
Jean-Claude Jean-Philippe attacked her at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Homestead. Jean-Philippe has been charged with sexual battery on an incapacitated victim. Officers say he confessed when confronted.
It's a lab.
And the Polo mogul, serving 16 years in prison for killing a Wellington man while driving drunk, is now fighting to reduce his sentence. John Goodman's lawyers say he has been a model inmate for the last 4 years. In 2010, Goodman hit and killed 23-year-old UCF grad Scott Wilson, then walked away from the crash scene. Right now, a desperate manhunt is on after a gunman opened fire on a tram in the Netherlands. The mayor of Utrecht says 3 people are dead and at least 5 others were injured. Police released an image of the suspect, a 37-year-old Turkish man who is still on the loose. Authorities are not ruling out the motive as a possible terror attack. And in New Zealand, the Prime Minister says major changes are coming to the country's gun laws. She says Yes, her cabinet made the decision in principle after the mosque attacks that left 50 people dead. Now she says the government will implement stricter gun laws within 10 days.
Bring in effective regulation of firearms that actually target those that we need to target, and that is our focus.
The suspect has apparently fired his lawyer and plans to represent himself. Some fear he'll use his murder trial as a platform for his white nationalist beliefs. Here at home now, Congress plans to investigate the FAA approval process of the Boeing 737 MAX. CBS News has learned that federal authorities have told employees at Boeing and the FAA in Seattle to retain documents dealing with the approval process of the jets. This comes as preliminary evidence shows similarities between the crash of an Ethiopian Airlines jetliner last weekend and another MAX jet crash in October. In headlines trending across America, the Wisconsin man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss, killing her parents, is speaking out from jail. A man who identified himself as Jake Patterson called a local news reporter after she wrote him a letter. CBS 12's Jamie Yukas has that conversation.
Less than 2 weeks before Jake Patterson is set to be arraigned, a man identifying himself as the 21-year-old is revealing why he confessed to kidnapping Jamie Kloss and murdering her parents. Reporter Jennifer Mayerly got the call from the Polk County Jail Friday. The caller said he wants to talk to Kloss, but knows he can't. According to investigators, Patterson confessed to breaking into Kloss's home last October and shooting both of her parents in the head. He kept her at his remote cabin, often forcing her to stay under the bed for several hours at a time. Kloss was able to escape in January, flagging down a woman walking her dog. On the same day Patterson apparently spoke to the reporter, another kidnapping victim, Elizabeth Smart, addressed Kloss's hometown about coming together to heal.
It was the most terrifying experience of my entire life.
Smart encouraged the community to respect Kloss's privacy and avoid tough questions to better allow her to settle in back home.
Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Los Angeles. Right now, emergency crews in Texas are working to control a large fire burning at a Houston area petrochemicals terminal that spread to
He should have like arrows, and a arrow hitting the wall.
8 storage tanks. The fire is burning about 15 miles southeast of Houston. Flames and dark black smoke can be seen for miles. You can see it there on your screen. The air is now being tested to make sure it is still safe to breathe. Every day at this time, we ask you the question of the day. Today's question, according to a recent survey, what do nearly 1 in 4 Americans admit to doing at a party? Your first hint, it's not drinking too much. Stay with us and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the newscast. Well, here's some Monday motivation for you. A blind runner making history with a little help from his four-legged friends. Plus, new guidelines now recommending against taking a daily low-dose aspirin. We have what you need to know next.
He's like no one you've ever met before.
Metal, how cute is that? An inspiring story now from the New York City Half Marathon. Thomas Panic is the first blind runner to finish the event with his guide dogs. It took him less than 2.5 hours. Amazing. That's just over an 11-minute mile. His 3 Labrador retrievers, Wesley, Waffle, and Gus, each took a shift on the 13.1-mile run. Gus took the final leg and got to take a photo.
block, but it's not done.